Hello, this is Sergey from ProperSoft, and in this video I will show you how to convert a CSV file with transactions to IIF format and import into Quickbooks Desktop. We will use a Proper Convert app that you can download on propersoft.net. Once downloaded and installed, start the Proper Convert app and load your CSV file. The CSV file must have one transaction per line, and in our case we have sample file with 4 transactions, and it has date, amount, payee, memo, check number, type, and category. So first we need to select the output format, and this is done on the right sidebar of the app. So we have QBO, QFX or fix option, QIF option, IIF option, CSV, and MT940. So we choose IIF option. So now go back to the mapping. Your CSV file may have headings. That's the first line with column names, and if it has it, that's good, because the parser would figure out the columns by itself in most cases. And if it doesn't, then you can always do review mapping and adjust the mapping. If you click review mapping, then you would choose columns in your CSV file, how they should be used for transaction details. In this case, date is used for date, amount column is used for amount, and if you have 2 columns for amount like debit and credit, then you would use these 2 columns instead of amount column. Then for IIF files we need category. Category is the second account for the transaction, which is expense or income account. And if you have splits, then split category will be used for split lines. But if you don't have splits, then you will have only one split line for each transaction, and the column, the account for that split transaction will be used from the category column. Then we have payee, which is name, also called name, and we have memo, and we have check number. So now we move to the right sidebar where we set IIF settings. So first we need to enter account name. It's usually bank account name or credit card account name. And if you have sub-account, then you would enter them in QuickBooks notation, which would be like parent account name, or let's say you have like banking, and then you would have checking account. So that's, there is no space between colon, and if you have like sub account, then it would be banking, checking, and then specific bank, like Wells Fargo, for example. So that name, all these names must match what you have in QuickBooks. So, and then the next thing is account type. You would have option general, bank, and credit card. I would suggest to use general in most cases, and if you know that you need to use specific transaction type related to bank or credit card, then you would use these account types. And output dates, in most cases, for most QuickBooks, it should be 2 digits months, 2 digits day, and 2 digits year. But you have other options as well. And transaction type for most recent QuickBooks, like starting 2019 and later, you would use general journal, a transaction type, and you could change it to anything you like. You can select from drop down, as for some older QuickBooks versions there should be general ledger used, so it's up to you. And checks to print, this is a special option if you important checks and you want them to be marked as checks to print. There is no document number, but it will be generated as you print, then you would use this option. And so the last thing is open after save checkbox. What will happen is, if it's set as on, when you convert to IIF file, the IIF file will be created, but also the converter will call the app that's responsible for IIF files to open this file and import it or do something with it. And for IIF files, I suggest unchecking this and importing manually. So now we have to click the convert button. We have to confirm the file name, and you can type anything you want, just leave .iif at the end, and you can change the folder, but by default the same folder where your source file, your CSV file, and the same name as CSV file will be used for IIF file. So now the IIF file is created, we can switch to QuickBooks and we'll go to File, Utilities, Import, IIF. And then, so what happens is QuickBooks 2019 and later change how it imports IIF files. So it does many things, a new IIF import procedure. So it checks that all account names exist from your IIF file. They exist in QuickBooks. They checks all vendor names, all classes, all things must exist. If something does not exist, that specific transaction will fail. QuickBooks will create error IIF file that you can read, and then you would fix those errors and import that file again, the error file. Or they left the legacy import. The legacy import is when, if account is missing, entity is missing, vendor is missing, class is missing, then it will be created during import. So if you have, let's say, like in my case, empty QuickBooks, I would choose this imported for me option, which is legacy import option. And then do backup when you do, before you even start importing, just go to File, Backup, and then you start with IIF. So always do backup when you import any file, either IIF, QBO, QVG. Always do backup before any import. So now we're going to select IIF file. In my case, it would be downloads, and then here's our sample IIF file, and then we click open, and we see the data was imported. Now let's see chart of accounts, and we have checking account, and here's our transactions. Thank you for watching.